In this video, we're going to speak about what if you feel bad about doing bad tattoos, which is good, as in you feeling bad, or just in general about hurting people. I'll be drawing a stencil for my client and I'll be discussing ideas with you. If you've never been here before, I'm Ziggy. I'm a studio owner, tattoo school owner, and I've been tattooing for 13 years. Me personally, I can do about 7 different styles flawlessly or fluently, or as they would be my own. I do remember the first time when I was tattooing this guy. He was in his kitchen. This was when I was back in Latvia, when I was a kid, 17 years old. He says he wants this writing on his arm, left arm. And I remember like sitting there thinking, oh shit, it's gonna be bad. And you probably know the feeling that it's gonna be bad before it's gonna be bad. That was the feeling. My hands were shaking. So I'm thinking, what lines can I sacrifice? Because some lines will be shaky. Like physically, my arms were shaking like crazy. So from that moment on, I realized that every single time that you tattoo somebody, first 5 lines you need to do as a test lines. It is a sentence that you're gonna hear me saying quite often. First 5 lines as a test lines, first 5 areas as test areas, because you don't know. At that point, I didn't know how I was gonna tattoo or can I actually pull it off. But later on, what it translated into was whenever you go to a different area, whenever you go to from leg to back to arm to whether, the skin physically changes. So you kind of need to find out. You need to know what it's gonna be like. And I do remember like being scared like crazy. And before we go crazy into this, you also need to go get some paper and do some drawing, okay? I mean it, like physically, press a pause now, get some paper or get at least iPad out and do some drawing and listen. That would be my recommendation, to do at least 2-3 things at once. Because when you're gonna be tattooing more and more in the future, you're gonna realize that time is super limited and you're only gonna have like a really short time in the evening to get stuff done, because all day you'll be tattooing somebody else. And then on the evenings, you will need to do other work for other people. And those other people are gonna message you asking, where's my design, where's my design, where's my design? And you'll be back to the wall. So you need to learn how to do 2-3 things at once. So whenever you feel worried, that's good, because that's what you're supposed to feel. As much as tattoo business is art, we actually are medics. We physically open people's skins. So therefore, you need to be worried about that as well. And you might feel worried that you're gonna fuck up this big. Like imagine your tattoo is that big, maybe it's a name, maybe it's a surname, maybe it's something small, and you're feeling, you know what, like I'm worried to pull lines wrong. That feeling never goes, because at some point you'll be seeing the full back and it will be also a piece you've never done before. So you're now your possibility that something will go crazy is about this big. It went from one name to about literally that size of a possibility that there will be something wrong many times on the same tattoo. The problems just get bigger. Then you get necks, throats, pieces like that, where you will be panicking every single day on every single tattoo that it'll go wrong. And it can go wrong real quick. So if you're kind of worried, the worry is gonna get bigger. At some point you become quite good. So people only expect that. Every piece you do, they always expect you to do what you did yesterday. Even though this piece today might be something you've never done before, the expectations will be always there. Once you put the bar up here, whatever you do needs to meet that. And it needs to be as good as the one yesterday, as the one before, and as the one before, and as the one before. If anything, better. Because from the one before, you should have learned something. Which means again, it never gets easier. And then obviously you will feel lack of skills. Every single day you're gonna feel like, can I pull this off? Can I pull this off? Can I pull this off? Because the pieces will get bigger, 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 bigger. They will be more complex. It'll go from a simple details to a lot of details to really complete like mess. And people are like, oh, I like to challenge you. I like to push you to the new level. And guess what? They're right. They will be pushing you to the new levels. They will. So when it comes to confidence, some days you will just have to make stuff up. As in like you will have to just pretend that you know what you're doing. Obviously you don't sign up for the stuff you don't know what to do. So there is limitations of how much you can lie to yourself or lie to them. And then what else not gonna help you, like it won't help you, is social media or your ability not to judge yourself against these random people across the world. Because when you see some guy from New Zealand doing this piece on the neck, and you see this American from somewhere, Texas, doing this piece, and then some guy from Toronto and some guy from New Zealand, you will be naturally comparing yourself against them. And yeah, it's kind of cool that you do that because you want to grow, but it's not cool because it's irrelevant. Like, you can take them as inspiration, as a benchmark where you can land there, but it will put like a extra pressure for no reason. And most likely the people that have booked in with you, they have actually never seen that guy before, like physically. It's only because we follow tattoo artists. We think that everybody in the world follows them and sees them, and that our clients have seen the stuff what somebody somewhere miles away have done. Most likely that's not the case. Most likely they type in the first images on Google, whoever pops up, that's what they bring to us. They say, I want this. And we kind of hope that they have seen other stuff out there. But then if they do have seen stuff out there, it kind of puts a pressure on you. So your worries are valid. Like, tattoos are permanent, they're not going anywhere. So in a sense, you kind of have to worry. If not, then there's something wrong. The piece I'm drawing now, she wants rosary beads that goes all, like, start from the front of the stomach and goes full around her. So like physically all around the meets a full loop. And then we're gonna have a little cross on her front. So now I'm drawing rosary beads in a loop. The way I'm gonna do it is, I'm gonna make, so she wants these singles, you probably don't see from there, but she wants these single ones, as in like there. So what she says is, needs to be the single bigger one, then there's a gap, then there's 10 smaller ones, then there's a gap, single bigger one, a gap, 10 smaller ones, gap, and so on. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make stencil for the bigger ones, I'm gonna make stencil for the smaller ones, and I'm probably gonna stencil one by one by one by one. So when she comes in, I will just draw a marker line all around her where it needs to be, and then I'm gonna stencil the cross. There's like a separation bit which probably has a name, but basically I'm gonna use that to kind of split into two pieces, and then I'm gonna draw with the marker all around it, then stencil one by one, hoping that it's not gonna leave a weird gap. As in, maybe what worries me is not 10 of them fit in like a full loop, but 9 or 8 or 7, where I can't make full 10. So somehow maybe I'll need to go evenly out, like 1 1 10 10 1 1 10 10, and then kind of like meet in the back. I'll need to figure that out. So that's what I'm doing now. Going back to the story, so a lot of times you might feel fear when you do some big piece. What could cause that is the shaky lines, because you just feel worried, or you're not stretched enough, so it's again, it becomes like wobbly lines. Lines could not be too deep, which also indicates that you're worried to go too deep because you're worried that it's gonna blow out. It's valid, but you still need a black line. The worst is when you pull the line and the ink is not in there, and then you try again to overcompensate, and then that could lead to blowout because it's you line twice, and then the second one you put more pressure with more ink, and the skin's being damaged already. So the chance that you're gonna blow out that line is bigger than you do the first one. Which what you can do is, you can purposely book those clients in for longer sessions. So if you feel like this might be a 2-hour piece, book in 3 hours, so you can like peacefully go through without any panic, without any rushing, without any flying. You can just chill, because the panic is really in our heads, it's nowhere else. We just made stuff up. These false stories we just made up in our own heads. So the question is how you get over that. And always the question, or always the answer, as in even in studio, is, you know what that means. And mostly everybody in the studio know what that means when I say, you know what that means. And mostly it goes down to, well, draw more. And if you physically spend more time drawing, you will have more reps. If you spend more time lining, guess what? You will learn the lining. If you spend more time doing sketching, you'll become quite good with sketching. Which means it's inevitable that you become good. Like, even if you want or not, you'll become. Another thing that I always recommend them to do in studio is do what you know what to do, plus 20% extra. Which means if you can line everything with, like, if you're really good with 9 liner or 7 liners, what if you add 3 as well? What if you switch from 9 to 7, from 7 to 9, or from 9 to 11. So one way is you don't go too high because you just know you'll be stressing, so you just don't do that. Make it easier, simpler for yourself. Make sure your station's like dead clean, so you know you don't have to worry about that, you don't have to panic about that. Everything is set up as it's supposed to be. One of the ways that really ensures your comfort and client's comfort is if you stretch the skin enough. So the only reason why people pull a line and the line's not in, it's mostly because the skin's bouncy. It physically bounces like this. So when the needle hits the skin, it just pushes away. Like it physically just bounces like this. And it wouldn't just not go through. You only when the skin is that hard, as in like stretched, it goes through, boom, easy. So a lot of times to make life easier, like massively easier, is stretching. If you stretch neck, if you stretch all the hard areas, complicated areas, if you just stretch enough, they become as your thighs are, as the forearms are. Like it's only hard when it's not stretched, but the moment you stretch enough, if you just pull that skin, it'll go in like nothing. If anything, it could go in too good. Then you can like blow all those lines. But stretching is like, it's the key for your success. You're gonna learn the good way and the hard way. Mostly people learn hard ways. That's like human tendency. They like suffer for no reason. And you don't want to be that who suffers, do you? One good way to decrease your stress is having evidence. As in, whenever you tattoo, make sure you take a photo. So even though if you don't like your tattoo, even though you can be like, oh my God, my tattoo is so horrible, blah, 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 take a photo. You need that. You need the evidence for 2-3 months later on to look down thinking, you know what, I've actually learned stuff. You know what, actually progressed. And just have photos. Always have photos for evidence. I'm super thankful. I'm glad that I took all my photos starting from 2016 and I still have them. Like every single photo pretty much that I did back in those days, I still have it, which means I can scroll through and thinking, oh my God, like I did those pieces. I learned so much so quick, so in a short time. It's amazing. And it's a really good, well done me feeling. So make sure you take photos of your pieces so you can look back on them. So I made one straight one. I probably need to make one curved now. As in like when it's on the stomach, it needs to go up. So I need to probably twist one a little bit slowly. So that's what we're gonna do now. And then what you can do, you can celebrate. There will be a day when you will tattoo and you will go home and you'll be like, you know what? I actually didn't think about line work today. I just did it and I was speaking to my client. And then at the beginning when you start, you think about line work all the time. You're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But at some point, this one day, I'm telling you, there's one day you'll realize that you'll catch yourself. You'll be like, you know what? I didn't think about line work today. I just did it. And that's a really good feeling. And when that feeling comes, do a small celebration. Go for like a dinner, open a bottle, because all these hours that you are dreading, you are stressed, they all paid off. Physically, they paid off. You didn't think of it. You done it. Another thing what you can do is ask questions to people who have done it. As in like, if you go on Facebook and if you join some random parties, some random places, you basically get the same people as your level. And obviously you get loads of haters. They're like, oh, your lines are horrible, even though their own lines are horrible. Your shading is horrible, even though their own shading is horrible. And they physically cannot give you any feedback because they kind of lack their own feedback for themselves. And therefore you cannot listen to those people, which means you need to get in places in the groups that actually do stuff and actually have done the stuff, and they are way above, and they can physically tell you do this, do this, do this, do this, and do less this, and they'll tell you. There are people who are okay. Obviously you're gonna run into like hundreds of people that are gonna hate the fact that you actually learn and hate the fact that you wanna achieve your dreams. This industry is just full with horrible people, but there's few people who will be okay with other people aiming for the dreams and goals. Me included. I'm okay. I'm happy. And ask the people who have done the stuff that you want to do. They are where you want to be, and ask them to help. Don't ask somebody with your own level saying, what should I do? He doesn't know. And he doesn't know. Your mom doesn't know. Your cousin doesn't know. You're asking the wrong people the wrong questions. It's like somebody who's never been a mechanic, if you ask something about the engines, you're like, what should I do? And he's going to be like, oh, I don't know. You go ask somebody else. And that's kind of what you need to do. You need to ask somebody else. You need to ask somebody who's already there. Or join a group with people who are way above you. So for example, if I run a business, I'm not asking somebody who's my level or below because, well, they're kind of my level. So they don't have the answers. Otherwise, if they would have the answers, they would be above me. So I need to ask the people who are above me. Make sense? So narrowing down, if you feel fear and if your hands are shaking, that's good. That means you care, and everybody likes people who care about what they do. That is something you can celebrate. You will see in this industry that there will be a lot of people who do not care whatsoever, and they just do whatever they please because mommy said at home that she's a good artist and I need to do so. So you're gonna meet those people, you're gonna see those people, and you'll be probably, those people gonna let you know in comment section what they think about your work. There's loads of them. See, that looks pretty cool where it twists. So basically like did one by one, slowly turning all of them. So you can only do bad tattoos if you agree to do a bad tattoo. What I mean by that is, if you know you might fuck it up, you just don't do. I personally know, if I'll be fixing car, that car will never gonna drive again. Like, I will just destroy that engine in pieces. Like, I would. It's not my thing, I wouldn't do. I know it's funny. I wouldn't try to build someone's house because I wouldn't trust myself. Like, that house would maybe not be standing there for a long time. And the same goes for tattoo world. You don't do the pieces you don't feel good to do. Because the moment you sign up, you basically said, yes, I'll do it. So there's a good stress and a bad stress. And that bad stress is you don't need that. You will physically not gonna learn anything if your head is in panic. Like, you cannot learn, oh, this way does this. Oh, you know, like those epiphanies will not gonna happen. You will be full on panic mode if something happens, if you fuck it up, and you're not gonna be thinking, oh my God, I just learned how to do this. Like, that doesn't happen. You'll be just panicking, stressing, and your mind will be blank. So you don't need that. But good stress is when you have never done any color before, you can tattoo quite good. But today somebody wants to add a little bit of red, like a little bit shade in. So you're thinking, you know what, I can use the knowledge I have from shading, I just apply it to the red ink. Let's see if that does. So you already have 80% knowledge in you, you just add that 20% and you sound. Or if you have never done a piece using 9 liner, you only done 3, 5s and 7s, but today you're thinking, you know what, I maybe gonna do the outline with 9, which is, you know how to pull a line, you know all of it. Instead, it's just a different line, a different thickness. That's cool. Those moments you're learning, those moments you are progressing, those moments you download new information in your head, which is the good stress to be in. But if you sign up for a piece that you physically don't know how to do and how you can deliver, there's a guarantee that you're gonna destroy it. And there's a guarantee that client's not gonna come back. There's a guarantee that it might go bad, and there's no point in that. No one wins in that situation. And mostly the best way how to get over fear is just doing so many times that you're sick of it. Like, I've done so many lines in my life, so many pocket watches, so many of those trees that I could do them with closed eyes. And I would say I'm pretty good at them. Because when you do so many things so many times, it's inevitable. You just become really good. Which means whatever you do or what you want to do, you just have to do that. Not avoid it, not walk around it, not try to do something else for no reason. You do that till you're sick of it, and then you'll be fine. So I've almost finished my small stencil. If you actually did drew as you were listening this, try and find a way to get to me and send some designs to me. Or if you find me on Instagram, which is Ziggy Tattoo School. That's it, simple as that. Ziggy Tattoo School, same as YouTube. And you can just DM me and say, I was watching your video, you told me to send it, then you can send it and I can post that image on story. At this very moment we have 133,000 followers, so I can get that many people to see your design. Not bad. And if you have a crazy story, if you have like something you can share, like other people may be like feeling exactly the same, and they feel worried, and you actually find out you're like, I know what to do, and you did something that got you over that. It would be amazing if you could put that in comments, and I would just love to see what you struggle with. It's like, I know it sounds amazing, but sounds crazy, but people like to hear people's struggles and get over that. So I'm like, that's why we watch movies, we watch animes, we watch stuff like that, where we like to see the struggle and we like to see how they grow out. It would be cool if you could put something in comments that either with what you struggled, or what you need help with maybe, or what you struggled and get over, or maybe you just have like a crazy story that you're like, you know what, you need to hear this. I would like to hear it, and it would be amazing. And if it's a good story or something else, I could even turn that into a video and add to it, or you know what I mean. We're building this together, I mean, we both, yeah. So if you did drawing, send me, literally like Ziggy Tattoo School on Insta, as my YouTube is, or at gmail.com. You can Gmail me, as in literally the same email. You can email me and give us some cool stories. Like, the more videos I'll make, the more crazy stories I'll be sharing. So it's cool to hear some nonsense stories, because sometimes we just don't know, we just suffer. And in this industry, in this business, we all shake, we all wobble, we all hold breaths, and we all like pulling lines with no breathing. Like, we go through that every day. Well, at some point you don't, but at the beginning you do. And it would be just amazing to hear it, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure other people also want to hear that. I wanna know what you suffer with, yeah. I'll see you next video, but make sure you put that in comments, yeah, because I wanna know. Yeah, sound.